Hello YouTube, this is Charlie426, and today we have the review of one of my personal favorite kits, or from series, the HG Genoace II. Now, those who know me on Facebook, I absolutely love the HG, or the Gundam AGE series, and their HG kits. They're really top-notch than you think, in terms of quality, and yeah, about 80 to 70 to 80% of them, they're very good. I mean, their build is somewhat interesting. They're high quality. I mean, at least for me, their quality is really top notch, and they're very different from like their typical HG you see time to time. So once again, it's a really really one of those refreshing kits for me, and really satisfies me. Now this is my second take because I had like an incident on my first take. But anyway, um, yeah, as you can see, I have reviewed like the HG Genoace Custom and the first Genoace before, so I'm trying to keep this as simple as possible, but I will go over like some extra details or differences as usual. Now, first of all, let's get on with the component. Of course, what you get, of course, is the HG Genoace itself, HG Genoace 2 itself. Sorry about that. You get its dots gun, the shield, as well, and here are some other stuff that you're supposed to get. So I'm gonna put this on the back and show you guys what you're supposed to get other than the mobile suit. So you get two beam saber effects, but you will be only getting one beam saber hilt. So yeah, and instead now usually in Age for the Federation, you usually see the flat ones, the flat beam sabers like these. But in this case, for the Genoace 2, you get the traditional round ones. So keep that in mind. And then you get a fist for the left hand for some reason. I'm not saying that's a bad thing. And here is the sticker sheet. Now the sticker sheet, nothing too special. You have like camera stickers for the heads and weapon. You get the eyes. Now those who built the HG Genoace, the first Genoace, is that behind the dark blue or sapphire blue visor, it's more like a mono eye-ish sensor, and that's like a round sticker. That's how it is in the Genoace, but if those who built the Genoace 2 and Genoace Custom should know that behind the visor, there's more like the traditional two type of eyes, like how the gym is. Behind the eyes, like you have these small sensors, but two sensors like human eyes sort of thing. So that's why you get these kind of eyes. And here's the main like issue that some people might have buying if they bought the Genoace 2 rather than the Genoace Custom. Now, kit-wise, the way how this came out was that the Genoace came out, and then the Genoace Custom came out, and then the Genoace 2. Now, the Genoace Custom, because the Genoace Custom was in purely whites, there was no such sticker at all at the first place. And also the way how the head is built is that, unlike the Genoace, which actually, the Genoace actually had a separate white chin part, but the Genoace 2, as you can see, yeah, the Genoace, actually, this white section is actually a separate piece. But the Genoace 2, the head sculpt or the head mold was kind of different. So it's a totally different build. So you have like the entire front section as a single color. Hence, wasn't a problem for the Genoace Custom, but the Genoace 2, you have to use a sticker. So what I did was that I used a white Gundam marker. That's all I did. I just colored it multiple times, multiple coats using the Gundam marker, and it looks pretty natural if you ask me. So if you have like white paint, it shouldn't be a problem. But once again, just letting you guys know, the chin section is a sticker because the Genoace Custom came out first, and that's how the build was. Okay, other than that, I did mention that you get the dots gun. Here are some leftover polycaps as usual. These days, I believe like almost like most kits these days should have like a bit of leftover polycaps. I don't think I've actually seen a kit that uses every single polycap it does, but oh well. And here are leftover parts. Now the Genoace 2 has the exact same plate as, almost the exact same plate as the Genoace Custom, so that's why you get these two weapons. Now, technically, this isn't a weapon. This is more like a paintball gun. Those who've seen the first series should know what this is, but yeah, this is a paintball gun, but it does have an interesting design. And technically, this shouldn't be gray. This has to be yellow, as far as I know. But yeah, you get that, and you get these exact same beam rifle or beam gun as the Genoace Custom, minus that combat knife or bayonet, whatever you call that. So yeah, still, it's good to know you get some extra weapons. Alright, now let's talk about the kits. Now, really, the Genoace 2 was the, how should I say, it was the last kit to come out as the Genoace line. But yeah, oh boy. Yeah, I'm trying to think of how to put this in. Yeah, that should work. Yeah, there we go. So as I mentioned, this came out first, then the custom, then the 2. So build wise, this is the exact same build as the Genoace Custom. The only difference would be pretty much the color and sticker. As I mentioned, the Genoace Custom did not come with the white chin sticker, but instead you get a white sticker decal for the Woolf Ennecale's personal custom mole suit. While the Genoace 2 comes with the extra dots rifle, and instead, well, okay, the kit does come with a heat stick because, you know, same plate. So I have the beam saber right here, but you can take off the beam saber and put the heat stick on. Although the odd part is that the Genoace 2, I believe, was never seen using a heat stick. The Genoace actually was actually seen using a heat stick, but the Genoace 2 was not. So that's kind of the odd part, which I'm not really sure why on the instruction manual they told you to make the heat stick and put it inside the shield. Well, technically you should be just putting the beam saber hilt. And yes, you can technically put the, or no, you can store in the beam saber hilt itself inside the shield. It would just be later a little bit, you know, picky or tricky to get it out. Okay, so once again, I have reviewed both of these kits, so I'm not going to go over the like articulation, but I believe I forgot to mention. Well, yeah. Anyway, so the kit wise, it's articulation on the arms are very basic, 90 degrees, but you have your basic shoulder movement, basic ball jointed head. Another interesting part about this kit, which I have mentioned before on these 2 reviews, is that they have extra articulation on the wrist, so that's actually pretty good. Granted, it only moves up and down, but I say this would be like really helpful depending on like what weapon you're using and not using that shield, for example. Also, despite the arms going only 90 degrees, but it has a double jointed bend on the leg, sort of, and still has a side swivel for what it is. The only pose that you will have like trouble doing with the Genoaces would be like a kneeling pose because of how the sides are designed, because you have an extra 6 side going on. Because of that, you can't go 90 degrees up front because of that. So that's kind of tricky. But I mean, you can work your way around by doing like this, but I highly doubt that this makes sense. Yeah. The only also issue that I would recommend you be careful is that this thing does have an ab crunch, but it only works because there's a ball joint between these 2 pieces, and if you're not careful, well, I haven't had this situation, but they might, you know, divide more and more, and they might, you know, fall apart if, like, I mean, if you're not too careful, because I haven't had that incident yet, but once again, the more you move the body, the more you see that it gets, like, you know, you can see that there's a gap going on there, so just be careful about that part. And yeah, that's pretty much it for the review. I mean, the articulation wise, despite having a Genoace Custom, Genoace 2, all 3 of the articulation are exactly the same. I mean, I guess the Genoace Custom, well, would be like I don't know, maybe the shoulder movement might have a different range, but overall the kit, all 3 kits have the basic same build. Like the body, waist, and leg. Arm itself is pretty much the same build. The only difference would be shoulder arm for this guy and the head. So yeah, it's a pretty cheap kit, but it really has a lot of playability. Despite its look and despite its size, I was able to pull off a lot of good poses, except for the kneeling poses. So yeah, this would definitely make a really nice gift for those like who love the series or who just love to build kits, because this also has a pretty unique build that you don't really see too often. Anyway, yeah, that's pretty much it. The only comparison I didn't make would be the backpack. The normal Genoace has 1 thruster, while the Genoace 2 and Custom actually has an actual backpack. As you can see at the back, you can see, like, yeah, they're all the same build. Anyway, so if you had to choose, I would suggest the Genoace 2, despite the chin sticker, because you get pretty much all the weapons except for maybe the first pistol. But yeah. Because you get the dots gun, the gun from the Genoace Custom, and the paint gun, and the heat stick as well. So I say the Genoace 2 might be your best bet. But if you're not too picky, maybe then go for the Genoace Custom. Anyways, thank you for watching the review. This was the review of the HG Genoace 2. If you guys got any questions or requests, leave them comment below. I still have more kits to buy and build and make reviews out, so please stay tuned. Until then, see you guys next time.